Welcome to Ask Your Dad. This is episode 15. I'm your host, Nate Flake, and we have a couple old friends on today. I'll let you fellas introduce yourselves.
I'm Castellano.
Yeah, I'm Dane Castellano.
So we got Cole and Dane. So we Castellano family. So I've known them since probably you guys. Dane's probably my oldest friend. Actually, I was thinking about it today. We've known each other.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, 4 years old, 5 years old.
Dude, we go way back, Bird Rock Elementary.
Yeah, dude, Bird Rock Elementary. Dane is in Idaho, and Cole, you're in Hawaii.
Yep.
Cole's wearing a shirt. Luckily, usually he doesn't have one on, but today he does. So mark your calendars for 1920.
No tan lines.
I've never had thicker tan lines than I do right now.
I got a beard tan line, man. That's how much.
I've never seen black and white tan lines like that in my life. That's like vanilla and chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing yard work yesterday and just worst sunburn ever. Just my neck is just completely fried.
Dude, the first one feels good, though. First one of the year.
Yeah, but not on your dome piece. My bald head gets sunburned. I'm headaches for 3 weeks with a bald head.
Yeah, I was wondering that. Do you have to sunscreen that thing every day just for a normal day or what?
Yeah, no, normally I'll get a D space, but then if I don't, the first like 5-6 sessions of the summer, if I don't get a good bait, like it just it'll stay red all summer long. I legit get like headaches, like I'll get migraines. It's bad.
Seriously?
Yeah. So I was thinking before we were doing this, when I told you guys I want to do an episode with you, I was telling my wife about some of the crazy stories from when we grew up, and I lived there from until about second grade in California, and our families were basically I'm trying to compare them. I don't know even who to compare them to. Basically, our families were together every single day.
Oh my God. Yep.
Like that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
It was like a giant like foster care for boys, home for boys.
It was kind of
just daddy daycare.
Flies, really.
Yeah, we have 8 boys, and you guys have 5, 6?
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5 boys, so 13 boys just constantly together. I don't even remember. I was thinking this too today. I don't remember like going to school in first grade. Like I remember I had a teacher, Miss Montgomery, but I don't remember actually going to school. I don't have one memory of going to school in first grade.
Yeah, who was it? Do you remember? Because we were in the same class in second grade, Nate.
First grade.
Was it first?
Yeah.
Miss Montgomery. See, that didn't even ring a bell.
Yeah, I remember you, and I remember Giorgio.
Do you remember the Calabreses?
No.
Dude, I remember. It's funny you don't, because I remember you fighting David Calabrese, or one of the Calabrese. They're twins.
Oh, okay. With the kid, the super white bleached hair, bowl cut.
No.
There was,
I remember you guys going at it before school.
Yeah, I don't think this is elementary school. I don't remember going to literally one day of school, but I was talking to my wife about crazy stories that happened when we were that age, and since our families were together 24/7. I wrote down a couple. So the first one, probably the most infamous, is when we used to play roller hockey back in the day, and we actually just
that's an understatement.
We just played roller hockey back like maybe a couple months ago at the classic skating over here with all my siblings. It was 2-baller.
That's awesome.
Rented out the whole thing and played, and we played 5-on-5, and some of my brothers were actually still like really good. And I couldn't believe how sore my legs were after 5 minutes. Yeah, I promise. Yeah, and then they're equally
now. It's ingrained.
Yeah, they're all equally as intense now, even though we're all like mid-30s,
Oh man.
But so we used to play hockey all the time, and we had a hockey tournament. We used to have I don't know why we were in first grade. One of our we used to play our games in Encinitas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and up at Decatur. You remember that?
Okay, is that where that was? I remember it was like an hour and a half away.
Well, in Santee, we've definitely played games there.
Where did this story happen then? In Ensenadas or in Santee?
I think the one you're talking about, Santee.
So we used to play, and like I said, I've got my younger brothers are too small at this point, but I've got 4 older siblings, and then our older brothers match up, Sean and Cody. So we used to go, and they back in the day, they just throw all the age groups on like one team. Like Cody, Sean, and like all my brothers were somehow on the same team. It didn't make any sense now looking back, but they were all on the same team. But we would go. This place was like an hour and a half from where we lived. Right, it'd be like from driving from Orem to Bountiful, or like to Lagoon.
Yeah, right. 30 minutes, but it's out there though.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I'm like, we drove forever. I thought we were going to be in Utah by the time we got to our games,
For sure.
And so we do the games, and then after, both of our families would just load up into the vans, mix match, doesn't matter. Like no one gets in their own car, just as long as you're in one of these white vans.
Just get in a van.
Yeah, you're good to go. And then we'd go to the park and then do a picnic and then rollerblade, play at the park for 5 hours, and then go home. So one of my earliest memories in California was me and Dane went rollerblading. We went to that park after with the families. I don't know. And then now that I'm looking back in first grade, I would be stunned if my first grader went missing for this long. But we went like rollerbladed off somewhere. Me and Dane did. And then I just remember we rollerbladed back and the cars were gone. Right?
Yeah. Like I remember. I think I remember a tennis court like rollerbladed, like they got that real smooth.
Yeah.
In there, and then like Sean and Cody were probably with us, and then they were gone. We went back, and then we realized.
Yeah, both cars gone, 100% gone, and we're like, wait, there's no way they left us. Like they wouldn't leave us. And then we skated around, and I think we just like went back to skating around. We didn't care. I just remember like we weren't that stunned. And then we kept rollerblading, came back again to the parking lot. Cars still not there. And then we're like, oh, they probably thought we were in each other's cars when they just, So then we rollerblade back to the hockey rink, which was like not close to the park.
Yeah.
And our hockey coach, who no one knows, looking back, I looked at the pictures a couple days ago. No one knows who that guy was. You know who that guy was? The coach?
Dude,
He's like a Latino dude that looks like he just got out of the army.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture when I get home. But
so you got a picture of our team or what?
Yeah, I have a picture of our team.
You got to send me that.
We're all in like the Play It Again sports shirts and stuff. We thought we were so cool. And then so we go back. Anyways, my hockey stick was still there, so good thing we went back because I left my hockey stick at the rink. And then I remember just telling this guy, like, hey, our parents left us. And this was like 2 or 3 hours after they had left us. And then we went home with this dude, this random guy, this coach. We were first grade.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I don't even think he had any kids, dude. Now that I'm looking back, like, I don't think he had kids. Phone. Zero cell phones.
Yep. No, I don't think he had kids. And I don't feel like anyone was with him. And I don't even remember where the guy lived.
I remember it was a tiny apartment, and he made his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Man, you got a better memory than me.
And then I remember we were sitting on the curb in the park because we were waiting for that game to be over, and a cop drove by and asked us what we were doing, and we said we were homeless. Remember that? we're like, save us, we're homeless, and the cop just like kept rolling. But anyway, so long story short, takes us back. Somehow calls our parents. This is dark. It's dark now at this point. And apparently our parents like had the cops out looking for us, and my mom claims there was a helicopter looking for us, which now coming up, and I doubt that was true.
Wait, so did we coach's place? And it was it still afternoon, or was it? I feel like it was, or was it dark when we were at the coach's house? Yeah,
it was dark when we were at the coach's house, and then he got a hold of our parents, and they came and picked us up at the coach's house.
Okay.
But it was like a good 6-7 hours of being missing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I told my wife that story. She was baffled.
Dude, it's insane. It's insane that it took them that
too
long.
Many of you guys.
Oh, yeah. Way too many. It's just crazy that it took that long to realize that we weren't with them, man.
Just 2 kids. Yeah, we were just 2 of 13.
Oh man,
that was wild. So there's that story. Here's the second story I had. And if you have any, feel free to interrupt me. But this is another one I had. We were at my house with my older brother Kenyon. For some reason, we had just gotten a car that had like the trunk lever that pulls the trunk and it like opens. We thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Now, looking back, every car in the world has that, right?
Well, it was just a novelty that there was a sedan around because we thought the only vehicle that existed was
the minivan.
Giant passenger vans.
Just a 15,000. So anyways, we thought it was cool. Kenyon, I'm pretty sure it was Kenyon's. We're in first grade, so I'm blaming Kenyon. He was like in 5th or 6th grade at that point.
Oh yeah.
He's like, hey, let's tie a phone cord to this to the little hooky thing, and then sit in the trunk, and then we'll pull it open. So
smart.
Remember that? Yeah. And then we stood on the outside, and we're like, no, it's not going to work. And he's like, bro, watch this. Gets in, locks himself in, pops it open. He's like, it's cool, right?
I forgot he demonstrated it for us.
Yeah, he gave us a demo, and then we were both like, oh, okay, this seems good. And so then we get into the car. We're like, we're, I don't know, 6 years old. We get into the trunk with him, and this is in California in the middle of like summer, so it's hot outside.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. Was it him that he may have handed it to one of us, the cord. So this is like literally an old phone cord that he tied around the thing.
Yep.
We pull it and it broke. Like we feel the cord breaks in our hands.
Oh man.
And we're like, yeah, okay. And I remember Canyon's face was so stunned because he was like, crap. I'm like, if we die, like I just brought these kids in the car with me. Whatever.
So weird. 3 of us in a trunk.
Oh.
That's literally how kids die.
Oh yeah.
And we were dripping in sweat. It was so hot. And then
man,
we were freaking out. I think we all started crying. Like,
we started freaking out. I remember Canyon like punching the roof of the trunk. I thought Canyon was like the gnarliest human alive back then.
Okay, it's still gnarly, dude. Speaking of hockey, dude, he was laying people out like some of my buddies at work. He was like laying them out hockey the other night.
The old knuckle puck.
How deep is the knuckle? How many times did we watch freaking Mighty Ducks?
Oh man, dude, so many. That and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks, Mortal Kombat, and Airborne were the 3 blockbuster. We had it as just a tab.
Yeah. Airborne,
the trilogy.
Yeah, we probably spent over $1,000 on renting Airborne. We should have just bought it.
Oh yeah.
We rent that thing 3 nights every week for 2 years.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, we kept them in business. So anyway, so then end of the story is we were sweating, thought we were going to die. They literally think we were going to die. It was getting hard to breathe. And then all of a sudden we hear a click and the trunk opens and my little brother, Justin, standing there, who, looking back at the time would have been
4 or 3, right?
Yeah, because I was 6, 3 years younger. So he would have been 3 years old. So no one knows how we opened the trunk.
Why he was out alone in the front of the house is beyond me.
No, I'm saying that doesn't shock me as much. One of my brothers just being out and about in a diaper.
No, I do remember Canyon calming us down. He said a prayer, and it was like right then.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better, Canyon set that whole thing up with Justin and the phone cord breaking and everything.
So he could use that in his primary talks the rest of his life. He's had his mission for a while. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so that was another story. I've got one more, and then if you had any, Dane. If not, we'll move on to the. So the last one is when we were. So the same thing. We were freaking 5 years old. We were rollerblading around. And you may not even been here this time. Were you there when I fell down the hill rollerblading?
Where was it? Was it by your guys' place?
Remember by my place that hill that was just 100-degree grade, like it was just straight down.
100-degree. Yeah, dude, I have a hard time remembering where you guys were somewhere in La Jolla.
Yeah, it was up in La Jolla, but basically there was a hill by our house that like you couldn't even like walk up. Like you couldn't even like walk up it. It was down into a cul-de-sac. So. Yeah, I think my brother was like, bet to do it. I still have the scar. I have a massive scar on my side. But anyways, I went down this hill, and my brother's like, just go down it. And this thing was, I need to find a picture of it and put it up on Instagram or something so people believe the story. I'm going to go on Google Maps and find it. Anyways, I went down on trying to do the sideways thing, and then I'm like, you know what, we're going to go for it at the down, and I just went straight, and I freaking murdered myself. I just rolled down like half the hill, but I only hit one part of my side every time I hit the ground. And I have a massive scar the size of like an orange on my side.
You know what, man? I think I do remember that.
It was brutal. But now looking back, now I'm a dad. I'm like, where were our parents at? Like, what were we doing?
I know, man. It literally is insane. I remember they would just drop us off, and like just some. So how much older is Matt and Colton than you?
So Matt and Colton are both the same age, so they're like 6 years older than us.
Okay, so they're like 11 or 12 at the time. But they would leave us at the church all day playing roller hockey.
Yeah.
And then they would leave us at Bird Rock Elementary. Do you remember that one time we were playing at Bird Rock and the dog was there?
Oh no, that's unreal. The actual dog from Airbud?
Yeah, man. He was like, I think the guy was like kicking. I don't know if he was playing soccer or hockey with the dog, but he was like blocking. I think it was hockey. He was like catching the ball in his mouth.
Hitting Bryce with the stick and stuff.
No, he was just playing goalie. But I remember they would show up with like 10 like hot and readies from Little Caesars. or like 50 Big Macs.
Yeah, the 50 Big Macs is unreal. My dad would have to call ahead to McDonald's and be like, hey, I'm coming in. Because Mondays were $1 Big Macs. He'd have to call ahead to like the McDonald's, and the guy like knew him. He was like, Christ, I'll be there too. Just a regular. And then he'd literally roll up with 50 Big Macs, and we would murder the Big Macs. They wouldn't even stop all the way when they'd go by. They would just slowly come to a roll and then just like drop a bag of Powerades on the grass and then keep driving.
Yeah, it's like who knows what they were doing.
Yeah, no one knows now. Now I'm looking back, I'm like, they probably just wanted a break from their 4,000 kids.
Yep.
So, okay. Anyways, well, I'm gonna get into some of these segments. I just wanted to take that little trip down memory lane. That was some freaking crazy stuff.
Yeah, Nate, you got to put up that picture of all of us lined up when we were kids.
Oh yeah. On the wall.
Everybody can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find that pic. You have that pic? You should send that to me if you have it.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, that era was too good. We've never been tan or two. I moved to Utah, and I've never been white. I haven't seen the sun in year or two. So the first question I asked on this thing, and I'll start with that, is the hardest thing you've ever had to put together for your kids. So Nora's birthday was last week. My youngest, she's 6. Well, now she's 7. And my mother-in-law got her like she's like way into baby dolls right now. So she got her like a little like changing table / sink and like a little clothes rack. It's like all little thing. Anyways. So I went to put this thing together, million steps, first of all, which is the most annoying thing ever. But then like the drawing didn't match what I was doing, you know? So I'm like trying to like follow the directions, and there'd be like holes where holes weren't supposed to be, or like, you know, or no holes where there were supposed to be holes. I'm like, oh, I totally screwed this up. And it ended up being like, I was doing it right. They just didn't drill the holes. And then like this other thing, I had to actually get a tool out and make the hole bigger because it was like a square instead of a hole where the peg was supposed to fit. And it took me like 2.5. It was like took me 2 hours. I was supposed to take. It said like 15 minutes to assemble. And I was pissed. I was so pissed. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll ask and see what the hardest things were. Probably the hardest thing I ever put together was last Christmas for one of those RC cars where the kids sit in them. Oh, dude. It's the hardest thing.
Together?
Yeah, they don't assemble it. They just send it to you in a massive box.
Really?
What?
Yeah, you're basically like creating a car from nothing. You're actually doing the electrical engineering.
You're doing every step of old Henry Ford's assembly line.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, and then you're trying to like. And then even when you get everything all together, like then you have to like figure out the wiring. Like I'm like, why are they making me wire this? I I bought it. It should come already done.
They just drove right out of the box.
They should. Yeah, they should drive right in the box.
Who designed this stuff?
That was Christmas Eve, and here in Utah, I'm sitting in my garage, which is detached from my house, so it's freezing. And it took me 5 hours. Like literally, I was up till 3 a.m.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think you have to accept that from now on, Christmas Eve, you're not sleeping, right?
Yeah, 0% fun.
Oh man.
So what are the two worst things you guys have had to put together?
Well, yeah, we haven't really messed around with huge toys like that yet. It's, I guess, some reference are 3. My daughter Everly's 3, and then Kit, my son, he's like 18 months. So, I was thinking about toys. I can't remember anything real hard I had to put together, but like, gosh, a car seat cover, which should happen like once a week,
Yeah.
Dude, putting those things back on. Oh, man. That's like, oh man, because they're always like, the main sock is like one piece. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like, you imagine like an armrest that fully like molds around the armrest. I don't know. It's just like trying to mold that sock around to fit in, and then you'll forget that you got to actually put the straps through to the back of the car seat, but I think the most frustrating thing putting together is actually the cribs. And it's like, the platform bracket that mounts that platform to each of the 4 corner posts. The screw that goes in there, they line it up with the slots on the side.
Yeah. So
it's like, it's literally impossible. There's not enough room for like a regular Allen's wrench. So if you use like your drill, go at like a 45-degree angle, because your drill's hitting those slats. And I literally strip every one of those screws out.
Yeah. So you have to just glue it.
Like turn it by hand with like a tiny pair of pliers. Dude, that is the most frustrating. I want to be a consultant for stuff like that.
And then especially when it's like your first kids, and then you're all nervous that the thing's gonna just like buckle, Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Newborn's gonna fall to the ground.
I think 3 screws is enough.
Cole, are you just on Reddit putting together cribs or what?
No, yeah. So, Knox is only 1. He just turned 1. So, nothing too crazy yet. But just a little bike came, disassembled. The little, he can't even ride it yet, but it's like a little walker bike, the little bounce bike.
Yeah.
And that thing, I got a few finger injuries putting that thing together.
And that thing's only 3 pieces too.
The amount of, I know. 3 pieces. Oh, actually, I am blown away by one of these strollers we had to put together.
Yeah.
It was, I think it's a Thule, but the amount of force that I had to put in, on my fingers, folding that thing up was unreal. I broke my finger practically. Like I jammed my finger and I couldn't use my thumb for like a week.
Oh my gosh.
Because the thing was so stiff. Yeah, it was insane. That was probably my worst one.
You guys probably have to put together everything too, right? Since you probably order everything online over there.
Yeah, everything's online here. Yeah, and nothing ships too, or it's really expensive shipping.
It just takes forever.
Yeah, most things on Amazon don't ship here.
Really?
Or most furniture. It's more furniture stuff, but
yeah,
Amazon Prime stuff ships.
Your crib is just banana leaves and some dirt.
Yeah, it's a hammock.
There actually is a lot of sand in his crib, though. No joke. There's sand in it.
Oh man, that's
Oh,
classic.
that's my nightmare. Sand in my
Sticks all
bed.
over his butt. Yeah.
Dude, Uncle Jess will be proud.
Sand in my
yeah.
bed. I would rather die. Are you guys? Are
You
you?
just gotta embrace it.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah.
white, is your guys' quarantine just chilling? Like everyone just like, is it even a quarantine over there?
It is because most of Hawaii is based around tourism. So most businesses are shut down right now. And the locals are worried. We're all worried that all the restaurants are going to go away because there's only 5 of them
Yeah,
on the
seriously.
whole North Shore. So we're like, oh, we got to support them, So we go to those. But yeah, it is weird. I mean, the beaches are all fine. Everybody's still at the beach and surfing.
Yeah.
You just can't like congregate at the big beaches and put towels down. They make you have to be exercising.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, at least we can surf.
Yeah, that's nice. That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Is the lack of tourism noticeable?
Businesses are tourism. Yeah, it is. There's a lot less slow drivers on the road, a lot less looky-loos. And yeah, there's no.
What's a looky loo? What'd you say, looky loo?
The looky-loos.
What is that?
But just people driving 20 miles an hour down the highway, just looking at everything they can see and taking pictures from their convertible Mustang.
The other Jeeps, like, oh look, hey, there's the ocean. Oh, slow down. There's the ocean again.
It's like, oh, there's a turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That'd be really annoying, actually.
It's the convertible Mustang that they have. That every tourist gets them.
That's the go-to.
Yeah, you can upgrade for free.
I think I was in a Subaru when we came. I was like the only one. I had to keep my Utah roots. My son only drives Subarus. Couple people from Instagram. So I asked this question. I know, Dane, you're like a social media ghost, but just I put this question on Instagram and people responded like with the hardest thing they've had to put together. So Alan Wood, full mini kitchen, worst thing ever. I've had to do the kitchen before from IKEA. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Same thing. I mean, the only good thing about IKEA though, yeah, it's like a little mini kitchen.
Wow.
Those at least like those ones, at least like IKEA actually comes with all the parts most of the time because they do it so good,
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people on here, Kyle Thomas 5, IKEA is what he said. Cam Jensen says Costco Cedar Place swing set, pure hell. That would be awful.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody else said same thing, full playground for the backyard. Took me all day long.
Oh my god.
The toy kitchen's actually like the number one. El Doria toy kitchen took me 5 hours. Yeah, the toy kitchen from IKEA, it'll last you through an apocalypse. The thing is so freaking sturdy. But like it took forever. It's like it's like nicer than my real kitchen at home.
Yeah, it's probably that's what I was gonna say. It's probably like a real kitchen just shrunken down.
Yeah.
So it's harder.
Little mini propane.
Yeah. The worst is when Chad Shaw says a new bed. The worst is when it's not a toy, like you said, like a crib or like a piece of furniture that's like actually functional that they're not going to be happy about after. It's just like an addition to the house,
Oh yeah.
Same thing. S. Crosley says IKEA bed. So basically both of those things, IKEA bed. Anything from IKEA.
I really struggled with this wood bed from IKEA. That one gnarly. That was an all-nighter.
Yeah, you got to drill your own holes half the time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
I'm the least handy person in the world.
Pieces on this one, and that one, I swear that one weighed like 200 pounds. The bed. Yeah. You had to take it apart to to move it across the room.
Oh my gosh! I couldn't be. Are you?
Yeah, I'm using.
Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, no, I was just saying the desk I'm using right now from Target. It's still. I gave up halfway through. It works, but it's missing a couple screws because there was no holes that lined up.
just a little bit of wobbly when you put on pressure on the wrong side.
Yeah, exactly. But it works.
Yeah, I feel like anything IKEA is brutal. Basically, everyone said anything from IKEA. My buddy Austin Hansen says 300 piece dress are a lot of interesting words exchanged. I get so pissed.
Who are they being exchanged with?
Huh?
Who are the interesting words being?
I mean, even today I was on. I'm not. I feel like you'd be. Are you handy, Dane? You look like someone who's handy. Are you handy?
Yeah, I guess I'd like to consider myself to be a little handy. Yeah.
You look like you're running around a toolbox, dude.
A little less so now. I got a little less facial hair than I did 2 weeks ago, but
like, you look like you can fix stuff. Can you come look at my house for a second? I was taking off gutters today at my house and trying to like hit the little those screws that go in them are like 17 inches long, the ones that go into the gutter,
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking off this. You basically just take the screws off to take off the gutter. They're like these massive nails, and I almost fell off the ladder 5 different times. And Sloan was just dropped. And it's a on a Sunday morning. Neighbors are all just trying to enjoy the like first sunshine of that. I'm just freaking dropping F-bombs, hitting my head with a hammer, dude.
Did you do the Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation? Lean up against the tree behind you.
Yeah. I needed a tree. I got nothing but just space. I was so scared. Okay, last one on here. Our last answer is Zabriskie says, "Don't be fooled into thinking your 4-year-old will be able to follow a 196-step Lego shit in 5 hours." Yeah, Legos. My kids just going to get into them, and I'm like, if you can't do it yourself, you can't do it. Like, I'm not doing it. It's probably...
I did put together this Lego squid for my nephew. I think this was last Christmas. Dude, I was blown away by the number of pieces for that one squid.
Well, and the instructions are like pretty hard too. Kids can do them.
Oh, dude, they are hard.
Yeah, they're way hard. Okay, next question is going to be, and then so Dan, you can answer this. Maybe soon Cole can answer this. But what was the biggest shock from going from 1 kid to 2 kids?
Yeah. So my daughter, I don't know. It wasn't like a lack of sleep because at that point my daughter was starting to sleep good. My 2 kids, I mean, they're only 18 months apart, and then so my boy, he sleeps really good. He always has. So, and they're so close in age. They're basically, it was just like doubling up on everything. Diapers. The number of. That was gnarly. The number of diaper changes there for a while.
Yeah. The first while
yeah. Is just like the amount of time it takes to get in and out of the car. I think,
yeah. Getting up and out.
I was trying to remember back, because it's like, your diaper changes, and then you're changing their clothes basically twice and putting their shoes back on twice or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing it alone, it's like, we basically had 2 babies. So it's like, you take one, like, so, I don't know. There are times where you're like holding 2, and then you throw one of them in the car and put, wrangle the other one, put them in their car seat.
Just takes double the amount of time.
Oh yeah.
Did you think going from 2 to 1 was almost as stunning as going from 0 to 1? 0 to 1 killed you.
I think the first, just because the amount of sleep, the difference in the amount of sleep you're getting, that's insane. Yeah. So I would say the 0 to 1 is actually probably a bigger shock than 1 to 2.
Not having to watch anybody and then going for me like the 2 kids thing. It was the most stunning. The biggest shock, I guess, was like before you could go do your own thing and your wife could take the baby, or you took the baby and she does her own thing. Once you have 2, like you're screwing the other person if you leave. Like, you know, like you have to have 2, because like one-on-one's not bad, but when you're outnumbered, one of the spouses outnumbered, then you instantly start feeling guilty about like going on a guy's, like doing whatever, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so for me, I'm like, okay, now we're both. It's full time for both of you from then on out. You know, traveling especially is like 1,000 times harder when you have to.
Ooh.
Definitely. Double the snacks.
Oh yeah, double. Yeah, the amount, the effect to your wallet is just double trouble, dude.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Ours are not 9 months apart. That'd be wild. Ours are 19 months apart. And so same thing. Like we didn't really get out of the stage where like the first one was sleeping great and everything. We were already in the trenches, and so we're like, we might as well screw ourselves even more and just keep going. You know, might as well rip the Band-Aid off now.
I didn't realize yours were that close in age.
Yeah, mine. So right now they're 8 and 7. So for like 6 months of the year or whatever, they're just 1 year difference or whatever. At least they think they're 1 year difference.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, they're close. So for the first like year of that was the most brutal thing ever.
Yeah, I'd agree. You know, like I said, my boy's 18 months. He's cruising around now, and it's definitely mellowed out. It's just fun now, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Once they get out of like where it's just like constantly trying to save them from dying every second, then it goes to like it's easier, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Cole, what was the biggest shock for you going from just having a kid?
Yeah, probably. Well, from like 2 months to 6 months, my boy Knox did not sleep more than at like 2-hour stretches.
Wow.
It was insane. And it's just full zombie mode for like 4 months. And I'm like, I look back at that time and I'm like, how did we even function?
Yeah.
Like, we just didn't sleep.
Just a lot of rock stars.
Yeah, that was. Yes, exactly. Lots of soda.
Dude, yeah, that's
that
wild.
was probably the biggest one, I guess. Now my biggest surprise lately is how much he poops. I don't think it's normal, but he goes through like 8 diapers a day. Yeah. Like just poop. 8 times a day.
Can you imagine pooping 8 times a day?
Pee diapers.
Imagine if you had to drop juice 8 times a day.
I don't get it. Is that normal?
That'd be a full-time job. That'd be 8. Sometimes, especially when I get home, I like to like chill and take my time, you know, take a little seance for my boy right here. And so like, sometimes I'll be there for like 15, 20 minutes. Can you imagine doing 20 minutes 8 times a day?
Yeah.
You'd never get anything done.
That'd be a full-time job.
It's good for him though. He poops on the go, you know, just while he's running mid-step.
Just like a Steve-O.
And then and then he acts like he's never done it before when you change him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they forget.
Torturing him.
They do this all the time.
Oh, bro. Yeah, there's nothing better when you get both kids out diapers. A new chapter in your life begins.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when the girl gets out of the tower entangled. It's the same thing. This is where my life begins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So a couple of these answers from other people. So going from 1 to 2, the same thing. How many? This is actually interesting. AJ Wilson AJ 88. How many less pictures we have of baby number 2? It's actually super accurate because we had, you have the first one and you take 1 million pictures of them. And then you have the second one. I don't know if you mean to, but you just don't take as many, or you're just so busy that you don't have time to take as many. because you're too busy chasing the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, I just got a smartphone like a year ago. Like basically after my boy was born, so I was like, it's really easy to take pictures now. So I've taken a lot of pictures of our second though. Too.
What were you rocking? What were you rocking before the smart? Were you rocking like a Nokia? Correct.
It was what was it, man? It was some kind of a flip phone. My grandma actually gave it to me when she upgraded to an iPhone.
That's real.
I'm not kidding.
You're getting grandma's old phone.
Did you get
I know you're behind.
Did you get roasted by everybody?
You know, I kind of counted it as like a point of pride, but towards the end, it was getting a little embarrassing. You know.
Yeah.
Because in my like professional life as an engineer, it's kind of hard to explain like why you still have a flip phone. Your coworkers.
The year is 2019 and you're in meetings and people are like, hey, will you text me that link to that article or whatever? You're like, yeah, I'll have to wait till I get home, bro.
Oh yeah. Yep. It was definitely getting embarrassing there towards the end.
I got a buddy I work with that's on an iPhone 4, and we roast him on every single day. Every single day. We're like, what are you doing, dude?
Does he not do the software upgrade too, so it still works?
Yeah, it somehow still works, and we debated like starting a GoFundMe for him, even though he makes plenty of money. That he might be changing soon. I don't know. I think we're gonna try to break him.
Dude, I'll probably once I go through this phone, I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to the flip phone. I'm still debating, but dude,
you're not gonna find a flip phone anywhere.
Little grandpa.
Dane, wasn't it like more? It was like more expensive to get a flip phone, wasn't it?
Well, I think they were charging me like the same. They were charging me the same as they were for Annette's phone, my wife's phone. So, like financially, it made no sense. In a lot of ways, it didn't make any sense. But
yeah,
here's the thing, though, man. That battery, it lasts 3 days. You don't have to worry about charging it all the time.
Yeah, that would be baller.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. I'm kind of like on the opposite end where I know I have a problem with like social media just being distracted 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'd go nuts. Like if I didn't have my phone with me for like 4 or 5 hours, I'd be stunned.
Really?
Yeah, that's funny. You should go back to remember those like yellow Nexios like the contractors used to use that had the radio in them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should get, dude.
I can't remember. I was talking to someone who was literally like actively looking for one of those because he thought it was like the greatest cell phone there was.
Yeah. Might as well just bust out. You might as well get a pager while you're on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember our dads back in the day, dude? Double pager, double cell phones.
Those pagers. I thought those were the coolest things in the world.
Yeah, that was the Bryce and Mark special, dude. They were the triple pagers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then they'd have to look for a payphone.
Yeah.
Drive around till they find a payphone.
They'd have to leave the beach to go to the nearest Vons to use a payphone.
That's right. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
A couple more answers on here of what the biggest shocker was from 1 to 2 kids. Kim Levitt says changes the game. Can't put a finger on it, but it's kicking my ass. Gage Melt says none. 2 to 3 kids was much worse, but I don't know if I agree with that. You can't say there was no difference between 1 and 2 kids, unless you're like working abroad and your wife's doing everything. You never see it.
Right.
This is a really good point I didn't think about. So different personalities, you think you know what you're doing, or you think you know what to expect, but then you're wrong. That's called a line.
Mm.
That's also true. Like, especially mine, I've got 2 girls, so obviously the boy and girl is probably different. But with 2 girls, you start to finally figure out what you're doing, and then the next one, the personality is completely different. They act different. They're like Nora was way easier. Or Coco was way easier as a baby than our second one. Our second one cried way more. And so you're like, oh, cool.
Dude, definitely different personalities.
2 different schedules you're trying to keep in. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you there with the different personalities. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question,
says,
though, the nap schedule.
Yeah.
How do you do? What if they're on 2 different nap schedules, like you, Dane?
You know, we had them in separate rooms here, going back. They're sharing now, so we're like forced to put them on the same schedule, Except, my boy, he'll still take a morning nap, need one. But when they were in different rooms, it was like different nap times and different bedtimes, really. I mean, Kit was just ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, because you just have to be home all day if they're on separate schedules.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
But Kit would be ready to go to bed at like 7:30, and my daughter, she's always pushing it, So
kids. Yeah, they have that's Cole. That's what someone said. Hildorius, there's 2 different schedules you're trying to keep in balance. We didn't, I don't know, maybe we're like weird, but we just didn't. I mean, we lived in Russia when Coco was 5 months, and then Nora was born while we were over there. So we had 2 very young kids, like in Moscow, and we just never kept. I don't know. We just like went. I kind of like with the motto, like they'll just go where we go and they'll figure it out, right? And so,
yeah.
As far as napping, they kind of just not nap on the go, and that's kind of how it was. But I mean, some people, if you, I don't know, you can use schedules off for the first little bit for sure. They at least get a break. If you can get them napping at the same time, you're golden.
Oh yeah, dude. The naps together is if you get 2 hours with them both down, that's nice.
Sorry, Dan, you're breaking up. Say it one more time.
Just saying, if you can get them taking naps at the same time, where you get them both down for 2 hours, that's some nice stuff right there.
Oh yeah, that's golden. Yeah, that's my buddy just said. My buddy said, if nap times aren't coordinated, say goodbye to your whole weekend. It's true.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was trying to figure out.
But I think it depends on how you raise them. If you raise them just like, hey, you're gonna come with we're gonna still keep living our lives, and you just come along for the ride. I mean, it's harder on you a little bit because you have to constantly you have to deal with the ins and outs of the cars and all. There's never like a good formula for it, but yeah, my buddy Tyler Gardner said going to restaurants and movies, 1 kid was still a super easy life. But you don't know that when you have 1 kid. You think you're in the trenches, and then you have 2, and you're like, we're extremely rammed right now. You're just like, it's next level.
One really bummed when I got really bummed when Knox, I couldn't put him to sleep at the beach anymore. Like you wouldn't. Because I used to just put him to sleep and he'll lay in the sand and sleep. But now he's got.
And now he just doesn't have it.
No, well now he has to be in the. Yeah, he does not have it. He can't do it. He's got to be in his bed.
Yeah, that's brutal. Once they get out of that, where they're starting to walk around and get mobile, it's hard.
Yeah. That's Knox. He just learned to walk a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. I mean, it's cool because you're like waiting for it. You're like, come on, you're going to walk. And then once they walk, like you're never going, there's no going back from that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to baby-proof the cupboards. He just pulls everything out of the cupboards. Our house is a mess right now. Everything, the ground is just covered with random stuff.
Yeah, that's how our kids used to be too.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for some reason. All right, last reply on this one. My buddy Stanton says starting over at day one with a kid is always brutal for me. So they have 3. But yeah, I agree. When you've gone through like the whole baby stage and then starting over, you're like, oh, you feel like you're like took like hours and hours and hours doing something, and then you have to like, you know, you're like working on some big project and then it gets erased. You're like, you gotta start all the way over.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Last question here. So the last question is the bedtime routine or the morning routine worse, and why? For me, it's the bedtime routine just because I'm not usually there in the morning. I usually leave before the kids wake up. I go to work. And so the bedtime routine, I'm not there for the morning. Yeah, so the bedtime's a lot worse. I just like, and my wife always makes fun of me because she's like, you know, you're here for like 5 hours and you're already ready for them to go to bed, you know? I'm like, yeah. But like, those 5 hours is just like constant, you know? What about you guys? What bedtime or morning time?
For me, go ahead, Dane. Right now, Knox refuses to go to bed. Like he used to go to bed at 7. Last night he went to bed at literally 9. It was 9 p.m. I put him in there. He freaks out. I let him roam around the house and then put him back in. It took 4 tries to get him down. I think he took a later nap yesterday, but it's been tough. Like this week, for some reason, he's just refusing to go down at night. It takes multiple attempts.
Late nap is a deadly mistake.
Yes, that is the deadly mistake.
It definitely, man.
Screws him up.
Yeah, I'd say bedtime, I guess. You know, I've been working from home, you know, with everything going on. But really, you know, I don't know. Morning, it's just kind of, you know, making breakfast, you know, or whatever. But yeah, bedtime, definitely more steps. I'm probably more irritated if my kids stay up late versus wake up early. You know, I'd rather wake up. I'd rather be woken up or be kept up late, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, also the morning thing, like if you're working, I mean, my kids go to school. Both my kids are in school, so I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with like getting them ready, getting them lunches, all that crap. Like I just deal with the nighttime thing, you know. So there's no even comparison for me. But
are they doing the distance learning stuff right now?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's like an hour on the computer, and they don't want to do it. I'm like, it's literally an hour. Do it. You know. The teachers half the time are writing emails like, hey, we only had 4 people out of the 25 do their homework last night. Can you guys still please do it? Like I think parents are just too tired now. They're just like, yeah, screw it. What are they going to do?
It's like anarchy.
Yeah, literally.
4 out of 25. That's some pretty bad ratios.
Imagine both parents working and like you both get home, or you're both like working all day and you're just basically like tell the kids to do whatever. And then like 5 o'clock comes along and all of a sudden you have 3 kids that need an hour each of homework. Like no chance.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'm glad that Sloan doesn't work because I already know we would fight constantly about who would have to do the homework with the kids after work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that hasn't begun for me yet.
Be a struggle. A couple of these answers, most people said bedtime though. Well, most of these are all good guys, right? Except for a couple moms answered. Yellowwood, bedtime all day. They are tired and won't listen to a damn thing I say. Yeah, my kids, like, we'll put them down and now they just stay up and stuff, and they'll like talk. They have like those little Google Home speakers in the room that like tell them bedtime stories, so I don't have to. And so they'll just like run that thing all night long, you know. And so like they'll be listening, they'll be like telling a story, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're playing like Camila Cabello or something, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go to bed, you know. Go up there, they're just playing top 40 on their speaker, like at full blast.
Do they share a room?
What the heck?
No, they're in different rooms, and so they're both going on at the same time.
Huh.
So, but at this point, I think I talked about this last week on the podcast, but I'm like, at this point, I literally don't care what you do. Just stay in your room. You guys can stay up till 3 in the morning. I don't care, because my kids sleep in. They sleep in like teenagers. It's crazy. They sleep until like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Sheesh.
Because they're staying up and doing their little dance parties.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I don't care. I still am coming into the office. There's like 10 of us out of like 150 that are still in the office, and I live super close to my office, so I still come in. And so I'm like, I don't care. You guys do whatever you want during the day. I'm out anyways. A lot of people.
Your funeral.
Say that again.
Oh no, I just said it's your funeral.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Wife, I guess.
Well, yeah, Sloan's pumped because she sleeps until 11 too, and they all wake up.
Yeah,
at 11. Like, what kind of frat house is going on?
Nice. Sorority.
Yeah, it's a sorority house. Yeah, most people said bedtime. Matt Francis, bedtime because I leave for work before anyone wakes up, so my morning routine is great. Bedtime because at the point I'm done with my kids, I need a break. Hildoria says morning because I'm too tired and they have so much energy. That's another thing. If your kids wake up and they're like all happy and in a good mood, it's one thing. But when they wake up and they're already pissed for no reason, you're like, what are you doing? You just woke up. Like nothing has happened to you.
Yeah, that happens some days.
Oh yeah, they wake up cranky and you're like, what's happening? Bedtime. This is my Sam Crosley bedtime. It's so bad. Oftentimes I purposely wait to go to the bathroom then. That's a baller move, Sam. Okay, I go to the bathroom just as everyone else is getting ready for bed. Just stand there for 30 minutes. Everyone else at bedtime for sure, because you're so dead and kids get a second wind of energy for some reason. They forget how to do it every night. Yeah, bedtime's brutal. We've talked about it a bunch of times on the podcast, but it seems like between bedtime and morning time, bedtime's 1,000 times worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if all things equal, if they just go to bed at bedtime, then that's all good, man. We're still in like the bath, two little, base, bath time, story time.
Yeah.
Everything's good until, sleep, and then things start to fall apart,
Yeah. Oh yeah, then it's just pure chaos. And then you're just so ready to like be done with them. It's not like, I don't know. I'm like, Sloan's like, oh, you just, you hate our kids. I'm like, I don't hate them. I just don't like want to be around them all the time, like they're pretty cool or whatever. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna
give some tips on like calming our little 1-year-old down, because he will not sit still for story time at all. He can't sit for more than 2 seconds, and he gets up and freaks out. Yeah. And then when you put him in his crib, he's not calm enough to go to sleep. So like last night I just went for a drive with him, and that kind of worked, but I don't know what I'm going to have to do to keep him calm before he goes down.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I don't know, man. It changes with it, I think,
100%. Yeah.
You know, with Everly, she had a hard time going to sleep. Like, you know, one, and I don't know, man. It seems like it gets better when they start walking, but Everly, me or my wife would hold her next to we'd turn the shower on and like bundle her up and hold her and sing to her, and that's it. And we'd have to and then you you know, very gently, gingerly set her down in her crib, you know?
Yeah. Then you mess it up and they just rage.
Yep. And then you realize, but that's kind of like the first time parent, you realize you got to let them cry it out. You know, any first time parents out there with a kid under one, it's like, you just got to do it.
Yeah. We tried a couple times and my wife didn't have the heart for it, dude. But so I used to just like get him in a crate, not like a headlock. That sounds way brutal. But I'd like hold him and then wrap my arm underneath like this. And so then I'd basically lock him down. And then after like 2-3 minutes of being locked in super tight, they would just pass out. Probably because they couldn't breathe, but I would hope.
The chokehold.
Yeah. The chokehold
bar.
But yeah, every kid's different, I think. I don't know. Like what worked for my first kid didn't work for my second. So some people say like to try, like I have a buddy that was on one of the episodes, I think, sleep for more than an hour stretch of time for the first like 18 months of life. And I have a buddy who's a chiropractor who's like, oh, have him come get adjusted. Apparently chiropractors can like do like baby adjustments and like they'll sleep like a log.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
You should check it out if you know anyone there and like family chiropractor.
The other thing, at least my boy, he was just like, he just ate so much. He still does. And it was like, if he was crying, going to bed, hungry, that was it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Figure out a way to get more food into him, and then he was good to go.
Dane, you should tell the listeners how much he eats. Give him
and he'll like, I mean, dude, for breakfast, he goes toe to toe with me. You know, he'll go like however many eggs I cook him, you know, 3 or 4 eggs, you know, toast. He'll throw down some bacon. Oh yeah, man. Like this morning, like 2 big old pancakes.
This is your 18-month-old?
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude. That's like Tyson when he was little.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's not huge by any means, you know, but it's just I don't know, man. He's got
a good appetite.
My daughter can still definitely longer than he can. He doesn't sit still for anything.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, dudes. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think it's been a little bit over an hour. Thanks for joining. We'll have to have you guys on again. Maybe one of these times we'll get together in person and get you on the mics. Get a couple of other brothers. Try to just have a little therapy session.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Have you had any of your brothers on, Nate?
Yeah, I have. I've had a bunch of them. I've had Kyson and Jocelyn on. I've had those guys together. We did. I think that episode we talked about the birds and the bees and like when you talk to your kids about sex. It was too funny. They were so squirmy about it. And then I had my brother Matt on too. A couple of his buddies. So I need to get over. I still have a couple of them I need to get on, but yeah. Yeah, dude, thanks for taking the time out of your day, guys, to join.
All right. See ya.
Good stuff. All right.